Hey, what's up, everybody? Good morning to you. This is your hip hop preacher teacher, aka Mr. MC Spreadsheets, aka Mr. Anderson, aka Wandy. And this is Waking Up with Wandy on the weekend. Here we go. Sweet 16 preview of the Stock Showdown Bracket Challenge. Round two, done and dusted over at 4 o'clock yesterday, Eastern Standard Time here in the United States. We are on to the Sweet 16. So let's take a look at what kind of matchups we got going on in the Sweet 16 here. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to share my screen with all of you, people listening in at home, so you can see what I'm seeing as far as what's going on with the bracket here at the Sweet 16 level. So you can see if I can expand my screen a little bit, we'll do a little zoom in feature here so we can take a look at the matchups coming out of Consumer Cyclical. In Consumer Cyclical, we had the number one seed, Amazon. They were down 0.83% from the week of 320 through 324. And that was enough, however, even though it was down, to take down Lowe's. Lowe's Companies, Inc. was down 4% for the week. So it didn't have to be pretty. Just had to get the job done. And therefore, it was Amazon, the number one seed out of Consumer Cyclical. They're going to be moving on to the Sweet 16. And who they're matched up against, as you can see, if I continue to scroll down a little bit, it's the number 12 seed TJX Companies, that would be the parent company of TJ Maxx, Marshalls, and Home Goods. They were up 0.5% roughly, and they took down the number 13 seed Airbnb, who was down 1% roughly for the week. So you got a matchup in the Sweet 16 of the number one seed Amazon going against TJX Companies, Inc. And that begins on Monday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you get your picks in prior to 4 o'clock on Monday, March 27th. Moving down to the second half of that bracket, we had the number three seed Home Depot. Look, I made some calls that I thought that Lowe's and Home Depot were going to be good plays with the spring season on the horizon. Now I was wrong. I admit that. Home Depot lost 1.86% on the week, and McDonald's solid performance, up 1.5% roughly for the week. So it's going to be McDonald's, the number three seed, moving on to the Sweet 16, where they're going to meet Tesla, the number two seed. Tesla was up 5.71% on the week, and PDD Holdings. I don't know all the details. I think there was some allegations with something with search engines and Google and things like that. You'll have to do the research for yourself. And that's kind of the premise of this whole idea, is not just picking, but actually doing your research before you make their picks. And a PDD had some sort of information that came out, was leaked, that they were doing something that they shouldn't have been doing, and therefore was down roughly 20% on the week. So this one wasn't even close from the onslaught, from the get-go of the week. It was PDD Holdings that just never could recover, and therefore it was Tesla in a breeze taking down PDD Holdings for the week. So you're going to have the number 6 seed McDonald's versus the number 2 seed Tesla. Let's take a look, kind of a preview of these two matchups for the upcoming week. As far as macroeconomically, you still have the looming banking crisis that continues to kind of linger over and hang over the United States economy and the world economy as a whole. But again, Amazon, like everywhere you see, there's Amazon trucks and everybody with the Prime service. I just feel like Amazon is just too much of a behemoth to take down. I like TJX Companies. I like their pricing models. I like their strategy with Home Goods and Marshalls and TJ Maxx for that matter. But I just think Amazon is too powerful in this one. So I'm going to take Amazon over TJX Companies to move on to the Elite Eight. And then in your matchup, McDonald's, the number 6 seed versus Tesla. As you can see over the weeks, it's been Tesla up 3.86, Tesla up 5.71. So over the last 2 weeks, Tesla's pushing a 10% move. McDonald's is pushing about 3.5% over the same period of time. So I'm going to go with a little bit of a retraction, some profit taking on Tesla this week. And again, given the uncertainty macroeconomically, with the banking crisis that we have in looming and inflation and things like that. I know McDonald's would be a play against, or kind of with inflation because of, again, the high food costs. But as that is starting to subside and the Fed was raising rates again, they did that as a quarter of a point over the last week. I'm going to go with some profit taking on Tesla. So I'm going to go with McDonald's. I'm going to go McDonald's versus Amazon, Elite Eight, with the winner chance to go to the Final Four. So that's what my take is on the consumer cyclical bracket. Let's move down to communication services, where we had an upset. Our second number one seed of the tournament gone, done and dusted for the tournament, and that is Alphabet. Alphabet up 3.5% for the week, but it was not enough. That's a solid performance for the week, but it was not enough as Netflix more than doubled up Alphabet during the week. Netflix, solid performance on the week, 8.2%, adding on to their 3.67 from the week prior. So that's a solid performance by Netflix. And the number 8 seed Netflix is going to meet the number 13 seed Baidu. Baidu up 6.42%, adding on to their 10.89% from week one. Took down Charter Communications, not even close on that one. Charter Communications down 1.73%. So it's going to be the number 13 seed Baidu versus the number 8 seed Netflix with a chance to go to the Elite Eight. And the other half of that bracket, we had the number 11 seed NetEase taking down T-Mobile. T-Mobile negligibly changed on the week at 0.06%. NetEase 4.11. It's going to be NetEase, the number 11 seed, meeting the number 10 seed Activision Blizzard. Activision Blizzard was up 6.81%, which was enough by about 1.5% to take down Meta Platforms, the company formerly known as Facebook. Meta Platforms up 5.32, just not enough to take down Activision Blizzard. So it's going to be Activision Blizzard, the number 10 seed, going against the number 11 seed NetEase in the Elite Eight matchup with a chance, in the Sweet 16 matchup, chance to go to the Elite Eight. My take on communication services, I'm going to go with Netflix on this one. I think with all this, all the shows that they got streaming right now, I mean, I'm a big proponent of Netflix. We just got done watching, are going to get finished watching in the advanced class MH370. So, I mean, there's just an abundance of shows out there. And, even though, again, they've been up at like 11 something percent for the 2-week period of time, Baidu's been up almost 17%. So based on that, I'm going to go with Netflix over Baidu to move on to the Elite Eight. And in NetEase versus Activision Blizzard, to be honest, I don't know an entire amount about NetEase, and that's why you owe it to yourself to do your research. But at first glance, given what I do know about Activision Blizzard in the gaming industry, and let's see, Activision Blizzard has been up about 8% over the last 2 weeks. NetEase about the same. So this one's a toss-up, I believe, on this one as far as percentage gains over the last couple weeks. Profit taking maybe this week, we'll see, but I'm going to go with Activision Blizzard on the win over NetEase. So I have in my Elite Eight matchup out of communication services, I'm going to go Netflix versus Activision Blizzard. Let's scroll up and over on the bracket. And again, you can find the live bracket on the Stock Showdown website. That's stock-showdown.com to find, again, the live bracket that you're seeing here in front of you. Out of the Sweet 16, or the round 2 out of consumer defensive, the Cinderella story of the tournament, Monster Beverage, who took down Walmart in round 1, is now out. Very similar to what happened with FDU. They were one and done. Number 16 seed Monster fell to Diego PLC. Diego was up 4.24% and is moving on to face the defending champs of the 2022 Stock Showdown Bracket Challenge, and that would be PepsiCo Inc. PepsiCo Inc. Took down Costco in a tight one, less than 1% separated those two companies. So that's the number 4 seed Pepsi defending champs taking on Diego in the Sweet 16. And very similar to Pepsi, and I believe I picked both of these because if you're going to pick Pepsi, I feel like you got to pick Coca-Cola as well. And it was Coca-Cola taking down easily Philip Morris International. Philip Morris International down 4.26. Coca-Cola was up 1.47. So easily handling their business was Coca-Cola, and they're going to meet Mondelez International, which is a conglomerate that owns many different food brands and things like that. Oreos in particular, big fan of those Oreos. And it was Mondelez who took down Procter & Gamble in round 2. So it's going to be the number 10 seed Mondelez versus the number 5 seed Coca-Cola in in the Sweet 16. And I'm gonna stay tried and tested and with my beverage companies, and I'm gonna go with Coca-Cola versus Pepsi. Wouldn't that be a thing to see in the Sweet 16, in the Elite Eight with an opportunity to go to the Final Four? So I'm gonna go with Pepsi versus Coca-Cola out of consumer defensive with the right to go to the Final Four. And then finally, in the technology bracket is the number one overall seed in the tournament. That's market capitalization that determines that. That is Apple. Apple took down Salesforce in a tight one. This was, again, decided by less than 1%, about 0.5% on that one. So this one was tight all the way to the finish. So Apple, the number one seed, is taking on Adobe, the the number 12 seed. Number 12 seed Adobe took down SAP, the number 13 seed in round one. Also in a close one, separated by 1.3%. So it's going to be number one Apple versus number 12 Adobe. And in the second half of that bracket, you have ASML Holding. That was the number 6 seed. They took down AMD, who had a torrid week in 18.5% roughly in round one. Again, there was some profit taking there because, again, it was negligibly changed on AMD for the week. So it was ASML Holding, the number 6 seed, taking down AMD, and they will meet Oracle. Oracle Corporation took down the number 2 seed Microsoft. So Microsoft's tournament run is over. They had a solid week in week one at 12.41 and only up 0.41. So I believe, again, there was some shifting as far as big movers in round one, and trying to find opportunities in other companies this past week. So you're going to have ASML Holding, the number 6 seed, going against the the number 7 seed Oracle. In that one, I have Oracle taking down ASML Holding, and I have them meeting Apple. I just can't see Adobe taking down Apple. Apple's just too strong. Love the Apple brand. So we shall see what happens in the Sweet 16. But so I have Apple versus Oracle in the Elite Eight. I got Pepsi versus Coca-Cola out of Consumer Defensive. Over here in Consumer Cyclical, I got Amazon versus McDonald's. And finally, in Communication Services, I got Activision Blizzard versus Netflix. So don't forget to get your picks in at stock-showdown.com. You would click on, here you go, show you the website. You can see that you have 2 days, 8 hours, 41 minutes, and counting until you got to get your picks in. You click here, play now, round Sweet 16, to make your picks for the upcoming round. You can see the live bracket, which I was just showing you, to see in real time what's happening with these companies. And finally, you can click on the standings to see where you fare in the Stock Showdown Bracket Challenge. I apologize for the delay. There's a lot of background information that is taking some time to calibrate to show you the standings, but you can see after 2 rounds, it is Val from my advanced marketing class holding the lead. She had a solid performance in round 2. There were 16 matchups in round 2. 10 points apiece in round 2 were given, so therefore Val got 130 points, and she was one of the top performers for round 2. That and Nadia also had 130, as you can see here. What that equates to, if you go down here to percentage accuracy, Val was able to pick about over 80% of the picks in round 2. So congrats, Val. You now have the lead over Brady. Brady, that was a solid performance. He's in my 8th period management class. Brady with 110, nothing to scoff at. But now the lead belongs to Val. Brady in second at 225. It's a 2-way tie with another student from my 8th period class, Matthew Torres, who also has 225. And not too far off there is Eric in third at 210. And you can see, again, the standings for yourself and where you fare. Just because you may have missed something in round 2 doesn't mean you can't compete in the Sweet 16 in round 3. In round 3, it's going to be 15 points for every correct answer that you get right in the Sweet 16. So it's not too late to join. Again, if you missed a round and you want to get back in, feel free to do so. I realized that I wasn't sharing my screen, so you couldn't see the standings. So there it is right there. But again, this is all found on the Stock Showdown website. So check it out for yourselves. Make sure you get your picks in before, again, that period of time, which was Monday, March 27th by 4 o'clock. So you can qualify for those 15 points for round 3. So thank you for listening, everybody. It's been a pleasure seeing you, or you listening to me this morning, and I can't wait to come back with a recap of the Sweet 16 and see where we progress from here. So thank you for listening. This is Wandy out. God bless.